A rudimentary understanding of music theory can support the process of doing music by making communication within the team easier. The chord charts we use aren't very specific, and they don't communicate a lot about what physically happens when we do music. For instance, the charts that we use don't say anything about vocal harmonies, but when there are a lot of harmonies going on at the same time, it can be hard not to overlap or create moments of dissonance during passing notes, or just moments of dissonance between the vocal harmonies, the electric, and the keys. So there's a need for a common language to share ideas with other musicians even if you don't know much about their instrument, and one of those common languages is the number system. So you know how the songs we play have keys, and how those songs can be played in multiple keys? This is because the relationship between the notes stay the same, except they're all just in different places collectively. That's why, even though all these notes belong in one key, and all these other notes belong in another, instead of calling them by their letter names, I can assign them numbers 1 to 7. In this case, E is to C, what B is to G. They are both 3 to 1. So starting from the letter that defines the key, in this case, C, we will call this 1, and then the rest of the numbers will be labeled from 2 to 7. In essence, that's the number system in its entirety. It's just a way of labeling notes. But when I say the words number system, some of you might think about the Nashville number system. But that's not the same number system I'm talking about here. That Nashville number system is a way of notation, but the number system I'm trying to employ is a way of understanding music. So, why should we care about labeling and understanding music in this way? When you're able to hear music as a series and network of relationships, many facets of music become a lot easier to understand and talk about. Things like transcribing or transposing music, picking keys, finding harmonies, or communicating with other team members don't become arduous tasks. But of course, just knowing that we can label notes from 1 to 7 is not enough. There's some things in traditional music theory that we just can't skip over when it comes to something like transposing. We cannot transpose the intro line of King of Kings from D to B without first knowing the notes in D and B. But it becomes possible when you combine these foundational traditional music theory concepts with something like the number system. And one of the most crucial parts of knowing the number system is knowing what each note sounds like in relation to 1. For instance, if I know that my 1 sounds like this, then I'd know that my 5 sounds like 5, and my 7 sounds like 7. Well, why is that useful? If I hear I know that the notes that are being played are 5 1 1 5 5 2 2 3 4 3 1 5. And because the relationship between the notes don't change no matter what key we're in, knowing that these are the numbers that correspond to the intro of King of Kings, I can translate those numbers into whichever key that I need. For instance, if this is my 1, then the intro would sound like 5 1 1 5 5 2 2 3 4 3 1 5. Or in cases like finding your harmony. When you're singing a harmony, it can be tricky to know where to start. The technique that I see a lot is just memorizing what the notes in the harmony sound like. Except this falls flat the instant the team has to change keys during practice. When you understand what you're singing and playing, rather than singing and playing a random series of notes that you have to memorize, you start to be able to connect the dots for newer situations more effectively and efficiently. There's going to be a video series of videos on the applications of having a common number system. But at the very least for now, approaching music from the viewpoint of hearing music as a network and series of relationships creates a basis by which you can break down music. And when you come across new problems in music, as you start to apply this kind of thought process, you are starting to teach yourself how to do music.
I think you were flat.
I can see myself later. For instance, if I know that this is what my 1 sounds like, then I know that my 5 sounds like 5.